I take pride in the work that we do. And to be honest, I still will go back and do it. I do a lot of like hitting the next door neighbors of jobs that we're on. And I do a lot of, hey, we're painting this house over here. We try and clean up every day. But if we blow a piece of trash, the wind takes it up and puts it in the yard, we will definitely be able to pick it up. If you have any questions, here's my number. And that led to quite a few jobs and estimates just from that alone. Kind of gets your, face to the, my lawn signs out front, but now they can see my face.
All right, on this episode, we had Cade Zerr out of Kansas City, Arrowhead Painting. So Cade started in March of this year, 2025. He's already at $400K in sales. We talked through quite a few things. It's very packed full of good information on it. So how he just got started, with lawn signs and door to door, and then we get really deep into all the mistakes made. So production mistakes is a big one we hit on. Understanding your numbers and the detriment of not understanding your numbers, and then the real power of mood and attitude and how to sustain or connect to a mood of gratitude, acceptance, whatever it may be in the face of mistakes and in the face of failure. We also talk about how to learn and how to journal and how to learn on your own and self-development and self-improvement. So chock full of good value. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. All right, welcome to the Painting Business Pro podcast. I'm your host, Ben Landusky, and my guest today is Cade Zerr out of Kansas City, owner and operator of Arrowhead Painting. What's up, Cade?
How's it going?
Good, man. Thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, of course. No worries.
I'm excited for this conversation. So, let's just get right into it. Just tell the listeners kind of your quick background, how you got into the painting world, how you got into Painting Business Pro, just like your quick history.
Yeah, of course. To be honest, I don't have a ton of painting experience. So I went to college. I worked as a kind of a property manager for a few landlords around there. So I did, just kind of the general maintenance. Started learning all the parts of the house. My dad's kind of like a jack of all trades handyman, so learned quite a bit growing up. Did some interior painting and whatnot, but I had no plans on getting into the painting industry at all. But so when I graduated college, I got a job for a commercial painting contractor. So I was an estimator and a project manager for a big painting contractor in Kansas, and we did big commercial work. So a lot of stuff on the universities around the states, a lot of government work, big contracts, stuff like that. I started working for them in March of 2024. And I worked for them for an entire year. Learned a ton, but I learned what I didn't like to do and learned what I did like to do. The corporate side of things weren't just not a very personal business to be in. So kind of hopped out of that pretty quick. But in the middle of that job, I joined PVP in October of 2024. So about 6 months into that job, I joined PVP, and I kind of had this idea that I could do it on my own. I've already done it on these big projects, that sort of thing. Obviously, it's a whole different business, and it's way, way, way different running it on your own. But I joined PVP in October 2024, and I dedicated a lot of my work hours to going through the course, preparing everything possible I was under the sun to get the business up and going. So all the background work, I just kind of did that through the winter time. So obviously I wanted to, start this sooner and sooner. And the more I got into PVP, the more I was tired of my W-2 9-to-5 job that I clocked in, clocked out. I got really, really tired of it. But I did know that starting a business in October here in Kansas is rough for the painting industry.
A little different.
So,
yeah.
I elected, with some advice of family and friends, to wait until the springtime. So I, like I said, hammered the PVP course, did everything, to a T. And then in March, I think March 12th was the exact date I quit my job. So I was kind of in that situation where it was 9 to 5 for a painting contractor. I can't really start it part-time for my own. I can't pick up the phone as Arrowhead Painting working for, 123 Painting. So I just had to take the jump. So I completely
Yeah.
backed myself. On March 12th, I quit my job, zero book jobs, never done an estimate, um, never zero leads, absolutely nothing. So they March 12th, and then I think for the first week, I did lawn signs and door to door, and sold my first job on the first week. It was a small deck job, and as a friend of a friend, and
Yeah.
found the first sub for that. Didn't exactly go the best, but it did. We got it done, and then
Yeah.
from there it just kind of snowballed. So first 2.5 months I did 90K in sales, and then
Nice.
produced I think like 60 of that. And we did pretty much I did strictly lawn signs and door to door. So I'd put out like 50 lawn signs every Friday. It'd either be Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. The goal is to stay away from the code enforcement. They come
Yeah.
by on Mondays. So I did 50 lawn signs every weekend. That would bring in roughly, anywhere from 2 to 3 leads a week. And then, I would hit door to door in specific to one neighborhood, really. So
Yeah.
we'd put, lawn signs all over in the Overland Park, Kansas area. And then, really, really hammer one specific neighborhood. And this first time I got the job in that neighborhood, I just absolutely loaded. I think I had like 20 lawn signs around the neighborhood. I door
Nice.
toured the entire neighborhood twice. And think about like the 90, I'd say 90% of that first 90K came from that same neighborhood. Uh,
Yeah. Nice,
yeah.
man.
So it was, neighbor down the street, saw my
Yep.
sign, can I get an estimate, blah, da, 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 da. And, they saw your work. So that's kind of the hard part of getting started, in my opinion. It's like, you just, name's not out there. So
Yep.
for them to
Yep.
be able to see, the work that we've done was like very, very huge.
Yeah. It's
So
everything. When you're a brand new business, it's like you get that one person to take a chance on you. And then once you can show your work at that house, then yeah, if you're listening to this and you're not hammering the neighborhood around that first or second job you book, you stop the podcast and go do that right now. Cause that's the only way you're going to really build your brand, start to build your brand and start to build trust, take over one neighborhood at a time. I think that's awesome. You did that, Cade.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah. So I just really, really focused on that. I mean, I could kind of go into some details. I think I was doing, like I said, 40 to 50 lawn signs per weekend. And out of the first, so this was 2.5 months in, I did 90K in sales. I think I did literally I did like 10 hours of door to door.
Yeah.
I door to door sucks. It does work. I was, when going into it, I had zero like plans to do door to door, even though PDP like really pushes it, to get
Yeah.
started. And, when you're starting, I mean, for me, it wasn't part time, so it was full time. So if I didn't have estimates and, most of the time I did and all I had was time. So I told myself, I was like, might as well try it, once or twice. And then I think, literally 10 minutes into the first session of door to door, I had a guy like, yeah, I'll take an estimate. And I was like, dude,
Nice.
like, really? Seriously? And I was
Yeah.
like, seriously? You listen to door guys? But I followed the script like to a T. He doesn't need to be pushy. He doesn't have to be anything at all. You just kind of have to hype yourself up to go out and actually do it. Which is
Right.
the hard part.
That is the hard part. But if you can do that well, I mean, it does suck. And if you can do it, if you can succeed at door to door, it makes everything else a lot easier running a business. That's one of the hardest things you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of had like in the back of my head, like, man, I know the goal is to get into, internet marketing, whether it's SEO, Facebook, whatever. But I kind of had this thing of like, oh man, if that fails, what would I do? If I'd never done door to door, I'd never done these lawn signs. If I didn't do any of that, like my business would just fail if the internet failed, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of had this idea of like, man, I got to learn this first so that it's kind of like a safety blanket, I guess we could call it.
Well, and
You
it's
know,
also when you're starting out, you don't have, unless you do have a bankroll, but typically what you have is time and not as much money.
yeah,
And online marketing, you can lose a lot of money fast. And so, yeah, it does work, but to get good at those grassroots type things like door to door, lawn signs, I mean, asking for referrals, that's, it's huge, man. It's so important. And it also, not to go down this rabbit hole right now, but we're actually kind of going back to a lot of that type of marketing because now online marketing is so saturated. Like there's hundreds, thousands of marketing companies that want to take your money and do
yeah,
Facebook ads for you. And so it's so saturated. So it's so competitive. It's getting more expensive where it's like, hey, what if we went back to like grassroots, take over one neighborhood at a time, you know? So it's just critical that you did that. That's awesome. You
yeah.
know?
And to be honest, I still will go back and do it. I do a lot of like hitting the next door neighbors of jobs that we're on. And
Yep.
the spiel doesn't be the same. I do a lot of, hey, we're painting this house over here. We try and clean up every day, but if we blow a piece of trash, the wind takes it up and puts it in your yard. We will definitely be able to pick it up. If you have any questions, here's my number. And
Yeah.
I went to quite a few jobs and estimates just from that alone. Kind of gets your, face to the, my lawn signs out front, but now they can see my face. They can see, I, take pride in the work that we do,
Yeah.
and we don't try to make less of a mess as possible.
So that's a great, just to underline that for the listeners, like, yeah, when you're doing a job, going to the neighbors and yeah, having a reason, not just to like, hey, can I paint your house too? No, it's like, hey, yeah, sometimes trash might blow, or if we're too loud, right? Hopefully we're not too loud. Let us know if we're being too loud. Like just showing you care. And then, oh, by the way, if you need any paint work done, would love to give you an estimate. It's just such a great in. The other one I'll say too, if you haven't tried this, Cade, um, talking to your clients and just asking, hey, do you know any of the neighbors' names? Like, do you know any of your neighbors' names that I can maybe just go introduce myself to? So you can knock on the door and be like, hey, are you John? Hey, John, Cade with Arrowhead Painting. We're painting, Susie's house. Like that's just it's not, now you're not a door to door marketer. You're the painter next door.
Hmm.
Just complete shift in the context of what you're doing,
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
right. I think the more personable you can be, which that's more than just, the marketing side of things. I mean, when you're doing this whole sales process and all that, it's like my main goal
yeah,
is to reconnect with you on something.
right,
Something
exactly.
really like gotten very good at since this business is being able to just talk about
Yeah,
literally everything. And I'm super
nice.
interested. You learn so much and you see, the different stories of people's lives and what they do for work and all these different things. There's a lot to be, it's easy for me to be interested in your topic, or
Yeah,
whatever you're talking about.
exactly.
So I think that's a big part of the sales marketing, literally everything
Yeah.
that's through this business.
So tell us what everyone loves to hear the numbers. So tell us. So you started in March, and it's at the recording of this. It's like end of September. What's your projected revenue, and then also your what's your going to be like your net profit? You think on the year?
Sure, sure. So yeah, let's see. I quit March 12th. Today's September 23rd. I am currently at $326,000 sold.
Nice,
And we have produced 258,000 of that.
great.
So, and like I said, after this first 2.5 months, a lot of it, I switched to Facebook marketing. That's been huge for us. Starting to get some referrals coming in. Job site branding has been big. I put magnets on all my parents' vans. Lawn signs are out. And then SEO is kind of starting to pick up. I just do it kind of on my own, so it's still pretty well. But yeah, as of today, September 23rd, 326,000 sold. I'm projecting to be at about 375 to 400 at the end of the year. Our painting season really only lasts till about the first week in November here. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm booked out about a month right now, and got a few spots I'd like to fill. That'll bring me to that 375 400 mark.
And is it pretty healthy? Like, what are your your net margins?
Yeah, yeah. So my profit margin on the year is like 28%, 30%. And
And that's
that's
net.
that's correct.
Good job. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's has its ups and downs. I think the big part about that is just I haven't spent a ton on marketing.
Yeah.
Obviously Facebook it's starting to grow, but like the first, half 3 months of this 6 months, I didn't have $1,000 into marketing,
Yeah.
I think that was a big one for that. But yeah, it's been pretty good as far as like the pure margin on the jobs. The goal is 50%, but when you're starting out, you make a lot of mistakes. So
Yeah.
some jobs I hit 50%, some I hit more. And, especially at the beginning, there's a few jobs that I didn't make $1 on.
Yeah.
And it just kind of comes with starting a business and learning how it all works. But
Yeah.
you get it figured out. I mean, now the last month, we're pretty consistent between 47 to 50%. On the
Good. Nice.
job. I think
Yeah. And
that,
it's like sorry, go ahead.
well, you're good. I was just say, it was my next step. Biggest constraint was hiring subs. So the whole
Hmm.
production side was a big constraint. And that was the reason behind it all. So once I attacked that, it just kind of soared back up to where it should be.
Yeah. Well, and we say like for our companies, it's like mistakes are inevitable. Um, when you make a mistake, though, are you learning, right? Do you learn what mistake you made? Because learning something once, it's like, great. Yeah, you didn't make money on that job. Who cares? So you paid $1,000. What's the lesson you learned for that grand? Like, what can you learn so next time so that just never happens again? Like
Mm,
that's worth it every time over. The problem is you make a mistake and you just get upset about it and you don't learn and then you make it again and again and again. That's the real failure versus just learning the lesson and so it doesn't ever happen again.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
so if you were to start this thing all over, I always like to let's get into the mistakes and the failures. So if you were just hit the reset button back, it's March, what do you say, 21st?
March
What
12th.
would you March 12th, you quit. Yeah. So what would you have done differently? And what are the mistakes you made? This is in the last not too many months, 5, 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm PvP kind of talks about the same thing, but it's so true that it's a cycle. When you first start, it's marketing that's your biggest constraint. You can't do anything without any leads coming in. Once you get a few leads coming in, you sell that maybe, just a little bit, then it's your production. How do I even produce these jobs? And then from there, it's like, okay, let's go to sales. And then you got to go back around and do the whole thing again. Now you marketing, production, sales. So for me, I'm kind of on like round two of that. But if I was to restart and do this whole thing all over again, the biggest mistake that I made was on the production side. Um, Being able to have like an abundance of painters at on your fingertips has drastically changed my business. I was
Yeah.
so worried, and it was like one of those things where it's like, he's fine, he's been okay. Um, he's produced it well, but I'm afraid of, trying something else out. And then the last month, I've just like absolutely hammered interviewing painters, interviewing subcontractors, trying them out on new jobs. And now that you start to see different things, you kind of can see pretty quickly who's a good painter, who's not, if they're a good fit for the company, if their goals and their pride in work is what I want to see. It makes it so much easier to produce jobs. I was
Yeah.
really struggling to get consistent results from the jobs we were doing. So I think that's definitely the biggest thing is like go out and interview as many subs as you can. I don't care if you don't think they're even good. Like when I was starting out, I put out the Craigslist ads. I got like 20 people who contacted. I probably interviewed like 10 of them. And out of those 10, there might have been 2 that were good. But I interviewed 10 of them so you can kind of see even the bad ones. Like I had a
Yeah.
few interviews where it was like, okay, this probably isn't a good fit. I'll be honest, like, I'm not sure you're even really a painter. Like, you
Yeah.
could have been something else, but like it opens your eyes to be like, this isn't what I'm looking for, which makes it easy to be like, okay, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then I compare it back to like the sub that I've been running for 3 months. And so
Yeah.
that's the biggest mistake for sure.
Well, that's a good one. It's
Hey, Eric here. Pretty much every person that you've heard on this podcast or you listen to is someone that we work with at Painting Business Pro. We've coached. Some of them we've even become business partners with. What we do at Painting Business Pro is help people who are starting or growing a painting company grow an amazing business with great profit while enjoying an amazing lifestyle along the way. And transparently, our goal is that for the right people, we actually end up making a minority acquisition to help you grow your business even further as a partner of ours in our company. If you're someone who's serious about growing your company, living a great life, and you want some help doing it, we love what we do. We're very good at it. We do it in our own businesses right now. Head over to paintingbusinesspro.com and hit apply now, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
and that one echoes out into when you're hiring your first PM, when you're hiring whoever you're hiring. The more people you interview, the more, and then for subs specifically, the more work you see done. It's kind of like there's out of 10 subcontractors, there's one that's the best. There's one that's like that, they are the best out of those 10. But if you saw 100 painters paint, the chances of that 1 out of 10 still being the best are very slim. And so the more you see, the more you see work done, the more the bigger you can say, oh, wait, actually, it can be a lot better. Like there's better and better subcontractors out there. And when you find that great one, awesome, like hang on to that one. But yeah, it's all about really kind of understanding the vast spectrum that is quality workmanship, for subcontractors. And again, that's same with, I know we talked before the pod, you're going to hire a PM in 2026, like kind of the first hire. Same thing there, the more people you interview, the more you'll see like, man, I really like this person. But then you interview 100 more people and it's like, oh, actually, they're not the best,
For sure.
So that's a great lesson learned there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I think Eric probably gave me a good talking to about just doing it. I was super scared of just even trying to like interview. Like the interview process alone was kind of like, I don't know, it's uncharted territory for me. So I was kind of like, I'm going to do it. And now that you do it, it's very like, okay, now I did 10 interviews, but it doesn't stop. Like I'm interviewing someone this week, another sub this week, just not that I need it, that I know it's going to be good to have in the back of your pocket or whatever,
Yeah.
So I think that's something that it goes like under the radar, is that you start to, like now I start to see it's a never ending thing. Like you should always be looking for more subs.
Yeah.
Whether it's, like any van, I stop and talk to them outside of showroom lanes, whatever it is. It's just never ending. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I think for people listening, like, it's not a one-time thing. If you can get into the rhythm, like you're talking, Kay, just a weekly rhythm of how you're recruiting, whether that's, Sherwin stores, talking to painters, always having a Craigslist ad running, talking to your current good subs about if they know someone else, because a lot of them do. Like, always be doing that, especially if you're committed to scaling a business, and like you are. And so it's like, if you're gonna need, at Foothills, we have like, at any time we have like 20 subs running, but we have like 40 or 50 that we could always like pull from. And so, always be recruiting. Doesn't mean you need to be spending 20 hours a week on recruiting every week, but it should always be at least a couple hours a week that you're, actively finding and interviewing and talking to additional subcontractors, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, what happened really was I had the one sub, and I started booking, like, I think the month of July, I had almost $100,000 sales month. And so I became very, very prominent that I didn't have enough painters to get this work produced. So it was like, oh crap, like I gotta go find some people. And then it was, then I was like in this dire situation where I was interviewing people and they weren't up to my standards and da. So I like just waited too long. Like I was telling people we have a weekly accountability group, and I was telling them, I was like, man, like be prepared. Like you don't want to have to get to that point where it's like, I need these guys and I need them to be great right now. prepared for when it happens. So.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. I was talking to Sebastian Ovo Painting.
Yeah.
You know him? Yeah,
Yeah,
out
I
of
did.
Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's same thing. I mean, he had a couple of really good subs, and I think he still uses one of them, but they're so expensive. But he was kind of like, well, I can't. There's no one else I can use, and so he was you're kind of stuck there. It's like, well, you kind of have to use this. So, and then he started recruiting more, and he's now able to let them know, hey, take a look at this job, but if you want more money, it's okay. I have someone else who can do it.
Yeah.
And you gotta kind of work that system a bit. Because for subcontractors, it's not like they're not greedy. They're not always trying to like get more money from you. But if you look at it like from their shoes, that's the only way they can make more money is to ask you for more money. They're not selling the job.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to the client, they're going to you. And so, yeah, you've got to have, the leverage and just that abundance of, because different subs have different price points, and you'll start to find your best subs, their price point's a little lower if you have some backup subs that can take the jobs from them,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of a game, but I think it's more just like finding the win-win between you and your subcontractors. It's like working with them, not against them, is critical for that whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. So
I think you hit it. You hit the nail on the head when you said leverage. Like I remember multiple times when I was working with the one sub, and you'd be like, "I need $500 more or whatever, $1,000 more." I'd be like, I don't. I think I bid this pretty well, but like I have no other option. So like, here you go, And then that just kind of snowballed into like every single job, and then you don't hit your margins. So.
Yeah, exactly. And they get used to it. They're like, cool, I'm just going to ask for, 10% more every time or whatever it is. Right.
Yeah.
Cause it's just, what else are they going to, So yeah, super good. So that's why okay. So that's huge lesson learned. So always be recruiting subcontractors. What else? What are some other juicy mistakes you made these last 6 months?
Well, a lot of it's like specific to certain jobs, like the first of any job that you do. And, like the first job alone was something, but I guess like the first brick house we did, this one, we didn't even paint the brick. We were just doing the trim, and I had hired a new sub for it, which was like, this is pretty early on. And it's kind of a tax on a reason to why I stayed with the one, cause I hired one too early and he sucked. But basically we got like paint all over this brick, and it was a complete mess. Had to redo the whole house. It was like their third job we produced, and I felt so bad. The homeowner was like, she was super nice, which was huge.
That's huge. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she knew that it was like probably one of my first ones, and she felt bad a little bit, which I guess, worked in my favor. But yeah, we had to redo the whole job. Like I hired, someone to try and take the overspray off, and it worked to some degree. It was a complete mess. But yeah, like it's in general, every new job I do, the first interior job I did didn't go that smooth. The first full interior job we did not go smooth. Completely missed our mark on like timing. And, it's just first cabinet job we did, it turned out okay, but I learned a ton in the middle of that process. A lot of like talking to people in PvP has been a huge help. It's same with like even our accountability group or anybody that's been in business a little longer. Like I've really, really relied heavily on a lot of that stuff. New substrates that you're painting that you've never done before. A lot of like a problem I'm dealing with right now. In Kansas City, we do a ton of wood rot. Like I'd probably say, man, 75% of the jobs, if not more, we have some sort of wood rot. So it's been a big sale for us. It's a bit of good little niche we've been in. It increases our, job size and that sort of thing, and you make good money on it, but it's has its pros and cons. Like right now I'm dealing with one of the subs we first hired had just thrown a nail into a plumbing pipe on the outside wall. So that was 3 months ago, and they just found it. So there's been like 3 plumbing. The plumber's been out 3 different times. There's been drywall ripped through the ceilings, all kinds of stuff like that. So I had to front that bill. but just like stuff like that is, I mean, I take that back is to say that one I think is a lot on hiring better subcontractors. Probably shouldn't use him on a job that had that much load lot. But I don't know. Like it's just certain things like that you just don't really see. Overspray on certain things. Like a lot of it is just coming from not having the right subs on certain jobs.
Yeah.
So
how do you manage so a question on that, how do you manage like your mood and your attitude when that happens? I mean, you're dealing with one right now. Like how is that going? Like, are you stressed out of your mind? Are you pretty calm about it? How do you manage the mood part?
Yeah. I mean, it'll happen so much in the first 6 months. Like something is going to happen. I mean, a lot of times it's on every job you learn something. So I kind of chalk it up as to that. Like I'm not in a need where it's like, oh, I'm pushing for, it's my third year in business. If we don't hit this mark, I'm not going to make this much money or blah, blah, blah. It's kind of, for me, it's like, it's first year in business, man. Like you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have these problems. Learn from them. If you don't learn from them, they're going to happen again. And just kind of take it from there. It's one of those things like right now, we had, that was last week, but now that happened. It's kind of those things like, let's take this day by day. I got to deal with whatever the plumbing cost was. Something you get guys scheduled to go fix the drywall and the painting and all that stuff. And, it's hard. And it definitely sets you back a little bit mindset wise. But if you just kind of chalk it up like, hey, that's it was a $2,000 mistake, whatever it was I made, if you kind of take a step back and go back to the numbers, it's like, all right, I made, $5,000 on that job. It's not like it's the end of the world. Like, I mean, that's $2,000 out the door, but like I didn't lose money. And that is the beauty of the painting business. It's like you could really mess some things up and still be all right. Like you're not going to lose $10,000 or $20,000 as long as whatever Eric's saying, the house didn't burn down. But
yeah, we did that. We did that once. We set fire to a house. It didn't burn down, but we set fire to a house once. So good. And I asked that because I think it's critical for anyone, whether you're a new business owner or you've been in the business for 10 years, like it's important to have that perspective of, hey, you're gonna like, it's not if, but when, like a nail through a pipe. I mean, could have a better sub avoided that? Maybe, but also sometimes that random stuff just happens. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, deal with it. It's going to be stressful in the moment, but it's like, cool, how can you deal with it, mitigate the loss, but also like we plan in our budget for our companies. That's just a line item in the budget is unforeseen mistakes. It's just part of being in business. Like you are going to make mistakes. You're going to lose money on some jobs. But like you said, the beautiful thing in the painting industry is like, you don't, rarely are you going to like totally lose your socks on something. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say when we did set fire to a house, it was a crazy stain, spontaneously combusted. Like it was this thing you hear about, but you don't think it ever really happens. And it did. We lit the side of this house on fire, and we had to pay, $17,000 for the builder to cut it out and put it back in. And we didn't charge the homeowner anything. So we did lose probably like $23,000, I think it was, on that job. So that sucked.
Yeah.
And it's just now it's a funny memory. I mean, it was like 6 years ago. We still made great money that year. We're still very profitable, so yeah, it sucked and learned. I mean, never use that sub again. I mean, that was one thing we learned. And we knew that beforehand that it was like, one of those like C+ level subs where like you did good enough to keep them on. So a huge lesson learned there. Like just don't tolerate bad subs. And also like check your job sites, like do your job sites on check if you have a sub that you don't fully trust. So it's like, shouldn't need to have costed us $23,000 to learn those lessons, but it did. And we're good. We're still standing and our business is still doing really well. So, all good. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, something I've also noticed, it's like I'm a person who like attacks anything I don't know. So I mean, even if it's where I'm going with this is that essentially you'll underbid things too, starting out. Like the first interior job I did, underbid. The first full interior job I did, underbid. The first wood rod job I did, I underbid that. And that's all kind of part of the process. I mean, from each one of those, you're able to be like, okay, this took this much longer than I thought it would. Let's go back and change my estimating or whatever it was. But it was like, okay, here, this opportunity was given to me, to do this full inside house. Like, do I want to, there's a fine line of like, okay, is this above my knowledge? Am I actually going to completely F this up, or I just don't know how to estimate it? So for me, it's like, I'm going to bid this at a very competitive price so that I can in turn learn my lessons quickly. I think the quicker you learn and make those mistakes, the better you'll be in the long term. I don't see, like, in the last month or, month and a half, I haven't had a mistake from estimating on a job. And I think,
nice.
There's some small little things that can come up, but for the most part, like the big ones, I think I've gotten out of the way. It's just this thing was like, I've never done it before. Let's try and get it, see how it's done. While I'm not like drowning in trying to produce 3 jobs at once and hire a project manager and all this stuff. Like, I didn't have a whole lot on my plate, so I attacked it at that point. Something that I did recently do that I thought would be huge, it was huge for me, is that I went back. So we've done, we've probably produced like 40 jobs, something like that. Is that I went back and from day one, I went back through and I wrote out each job, and then I listed either things that went well or lessons I learned from each and every single one of them. So like at least three bullet points for each job. And I think that made me like really go back and be like, what even was this job? Like, let's go look at some pictures. This happened. Whatever it was. And now it's like, okay, I have this for like the rest of my life if I want, if I hold it somewhere safe. But eventually next year you'd be like, what the heck did I do in March? Or, you say you learn the goals, but then you forget, or you learn the lessons and then you forget them a month later. Cause you never wrote them down. So that was something I did recently. I think was that I will use in the future and did help me like rethink some of those things.
That's really good. I would recommend that to anyone listening. I mean, I think that's great because things happen so fast. I mean, business is going, it's already September, it's to slow down and look and see like what really did go well and what didn't go well, in these last 12 jobs, and really harness that lesson learned. We have sales reps that do really well out the gates when we hire them, and then they have a sales slump. And the reason why is because they don't know why they were so successful, and so a big thing our coaches do, our sales coaches, is to slow sales reps down. Because you ask a sales rep, like, why did you sell 60% last week? Like, I don't know, people were great, and it's like, well, that's not very sourceful. Like, what you did something to have that kind of success. And so to slow down and harness that lesson so that you can now you actually learn instead of just like luck. Dude, it's critical. It's critical if you want to be successful, that is, which, most people listening do. So, yeah.
I think, I tacked that on ever since I did go to the spring event, the PvP spring event. And I sold one job before I went to that. So I was like fresh, brand new, absolutely nothing. The biggest thing I did pull from that was just like start journaling, start writing down your goals, writing down anything and everything that comes to your mind. Like, they gave out a journal at that one, and I think it's literally full. I had to order some new ones the other day.
Nice.
Some of it's like, I look back and I'm like, well, it's not what I thought happened, or that's not really the, right mindset to be in, or, hey, here's my goals. I literally killed them. Which is a lot of the time for me. It was like writing, let's do a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month goal. I think my 6-month goal was like 175,000 when I look back.
Nice.
I remember when I first started, I was like, I want to be at like 200,000 or whatever was my MVP plan, or I don't know, something like that. And
Nice.
so that,
You're close to doubling that. Yeah.
yeah. Now I'm like, oh wow, that's it's crazy. I mean, 6 months ago, that was my mindset. Now it's like completely changed. So
Yeah. Love it, man. Okay. Well, that's a good place to wrap up. Journaling. I just journaled this morning. I mean, when you write, it's like you're talking to yourself in a beneficial way. Mostly we talk to ourselves in our head, but yeah, writing and journaling. I do it every single morning. Well, I should take that back. I do it most mornings. In the mornings I don't do it, my day is like, it's kind of a coin flip on how well my day will go. If I do it in the morning and I ground myself and like my intentions for the day, man, so powerful, right? Like, so everyone listening, like, if there's one thing you take away from this, I mean, the subcontractor thing is a very close second, but journal, like start to journal daily and you'll just see, like, you have to experience it for yourself, but Cade has seen it. I've seen it. Like it makes you a better performer in all areas of life, like guaranteed. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be business. Like I have a personal one now. That's like, this is going in my personal life. And I think that helps tremendously.
Yeah. I journaled just on my mood. I just asked myself, like, what mood am I in right now? Like this morning I was like, I got a newborn. And so I was like, didn't get as much sleep as I wanted to. And, feeling a little groggy and, but I'm committed to having a great day. And I got I got a podcast with Cade and I got this and I got that and I'm freaking pumped and like, it's going to be a good day. And I choose acceptance and I choose gratitude. And, it's like, no matter how tired I was, it really kind of set me up to have the day I intend to have. So yeah, mine's kind of all encompassing. A lot of it, obviously, mostly what I'm doing is business, but so it ties a lot to business, but yeah, it's not always business. It's definitely a personal journal for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, man. Thanks so much for being on. We definitely need to do a round two. I got other questions for you that we didn't get to, but this was super packed full of value. So I appreciate people listening, appreciate you. And I just really appreciate you being on. And yeah, we'll definitely, are you going to come to the event in, what is it, October?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Just bought my flight the other day. I'm excited.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of, I didn't get to touch on this, but for 6 months before I started my business, I listened to every single PvP podcast.
Nice.
And to now be 6 months later from there. And to be on, it's like just like a full circle weird moment that I just clicked in my head kind of.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
I love it, dude. That's awesome. I love it. Well, hey man. Yeah. Thanks again for being on. I'll see you in October. I'll be there too.
Awesome.
Yeah. And this is awesome. We'll do it again for sure. So.
Cool. Sounds great, man.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a quick review for the podcast and what you gotten out of it. It helps our show reach more people and inspire more people. Thank you so much.